Hi everyone. Well, it's occurred to me obviously that I didn't start from the beginning, which is typical for me in these description of the pain symptom things. I wanted to say that these different pains, like the stabbings, the burnings, and the other ones that I'll be describing, or I already have posted on videos, they come on top. Sorry, of a permanent pain which we all have. I mean, I've never met a fibro that have it, so it's just additional things that come on top of the things that we have permanently all the time. The best way to describe it is if you've had the flu, I mean the real flu, not a bad cold, the real bad flu where your bones hurt, where your muscles hurt, where you get this hot cold thing where you've got cotton wool in your head, and when people talk to you it kind of bounces off and it takes forever for your brain to register what people are saying. This really bad thing about feeling like as if your bones hurt. I know people say bones don't hurt, but that seems to me to be proven still. That's permanent. Whether it's at a very low scale or very high scale, but it's always, always, always there, which brings me to a little explanation about that. Is that some people say that we're sissies, and I would counter attack by saying that fibro isn't for sissies, because I know a lot of people, if they had to live just 1 week like that, they'd throw themselves out the window. But you have to be really a toughie to survive fibro, and not a sissy. Is that even if it's at a pretty low scale level, it's the continuity, the never-ending part of it that gets to us. I'd like to apologise again for the noise here. I'm supposed to be in a little country village, and the road that goes in front of my place has changed into a highway basically in the past 2 years, and it's permanent. It's hell, and I'm just dreaming of the day I can get out of here and go to a really calm place. But anyway, that's another subject. So it's the constant thing of it that wears us down, that makes it impossible to take at some moments, because it just wears you down. I've seen a few examples on the net of people trying to explain, like for example there's the one where you get a clothespin and you put it on the end of your finger. Unless you'll take a really dramatically strong one. I mean, just a normal clothespin, it'll be a bit disturbing, but it won't be that bad. But if you leave it for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it comes to a point that the pressure hasn't changed. It doesn't hurt. Theoretically, it doesn't hurt more than it did 10 minutes ago, but you'll come to a point where you'll just want to rip it off and just get freed of it. Another example is taking an elastic. Well, this is a small one of my grandchildren, but you know, the larger ones for adults. Slip it around your wrist. That is if you want to find out what we're feeling 24/7. I mean, it's just a little experiment. It has to be just tight enough so you can feel it, but obviously not tight enough to stop the blood flow or anything. It doesn't have to be painful when you put it on at first. And just leave it. And leave it. Some people will be able to leave it a few hours. Some people will be able to leave it 2 or 3 days. At a certain point, it's going to become so disturbing that you'll rip it off, because you just can't take it anymore. The pressure, the tension, the way the tightness of it hasn't changed. It's just the constant presence of it that drives you up the wall, that at a certain point you perceive it as becoming so painful you have to rip it off. There was another experiment that's just been swallowed by the fibro fog now that I've forgotten. So there's the elastic and the clothespin, and gone. I'll remember, it's in the French video because I remembered it in that. Oh yes, the shoes. Let's say you buy new shoes and then you're really foolhardy and just wear them to go to work the next day, or go out shopping, or go to a party or whatever, and they're still a bit, you know, they're new, so they might be a bit not soft or a bit hard, or you know, they have to be worn a bit to get around your foot. You end up with blisters and it's a total misery. I think everyone's already had that once in their life, where you're thinking, why the heck did I put these shoes on? You'll go into a loo or something and get some toilet paper and try and protect the blisters from being rubbed on. You'll go and buy some plasters somewhere. You'll do anything just to, you know, to relieve it a bit. And the first thing you'll do, you know, sometimes you're not even in at home yet. You're just, when you get in the car to go home, you'll rip the shoes off, and that's it. Finally, relief. Well, the pains we have, you can compare them to those, except that there's no pulling the shoes off, or taking the elastic off, or taking the clothes peg off. It's like that all the time. And that's why people say fibro is caused by depression. No, fibro causes depression, because it wears you down constantly, and you'll know that there's no end in sight. Yes, obviously you can eat like tons of painkillers, but that just dumbs it a bit, and even not that much, basically. I've tried and it doesn't work. So taking more and more painkillers just makes you sick and attacks other parts of your body, but it's never going to relieve you of this constant nagging anyway, so what's the point? Anyway, so I just wanted to explain that all the other pains that I'm explaining come on top of this already. So it can get pretty heavy to carry at a certain point. And I thought I should explain this because a lot of people, I managed to avoid being too cranky most of the time. Because it takes an enormous effort on yourself, and I'm lucky that I live only with the twins, and they're so used to this fibro thing, and on top of that my daughter has it too, so she understands, so they understand that when I say I'm going into isolation, so to speak, I go into my room, it's because I just can't make the effort of interacting with other human beings on top of managing what I'm managing with the pain, the fatigue and all the rest. And I really need to just be on my own and not have to talk, not have to interact or anything. That's why sometimes my friends will see me on Facebook, I'll like and share some stuff, but I won't respond to comments, or I won't answer my inbox. I just can't. I mean, those who are close enough to me know that, so they don't hold it against me. Those who don't know it yet, well, apologies. I get back to you as soon as I can, but sometimes it's just too much. Human interaction is just too much, because I'm already too much for my own self, if you see what I mean. Anyway, so I just wanted to explain that and I talked in the French video about this pain scale thing, which drives me nuts, because it's such a stupid scale of reference. Is that every time you go and do this full checkup for fibro, they ask you to put on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being practically no pain, 10 being the kind of pain you run to the emergency room for, to evaluate your pain when you're just sitting, or your pain when you're whatever. Anyway, you have to, well, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's so stupid, I don't even know where to start. Because look, when I first had started the real bad symptoms of fibro, aside from the chronic migraine I had forever, I mean, the people that my parents put down to either hereditary, or because I had meningitis when I was small. Aside from that, the other pain settled in when I was around 40, and it started with just one side sciatica. And then over the space of 3 months, which at that time for me was unbearable. I just thought, I just can't work like that, sitting in my office chair, walking to work, climbing up the stairs, going down. Someone has to get rid of this pain for me. And then it spread to the other hip too, and then over the next 2 months, so in the space of 5 months, it had gone to my shoulders and my neck, and my shoulder blades, and those are my what I call resident pains. They've never left. They've settled in and they never left. All the rest comes and goes. And when I did the first evaluation, it was when I just had one hip, and I put my pain on, I don't know, 7 or something like that, 7 or 8 on the pain scale. When I did the second evaluation, it had already spread. It was already shoulders, both hips, and the fibro fog and all the rest. And that same pain on my right hip, no, it was my left one actually. On my left hip, that I had evaluated at 7 or 8 at 3 months before, I put it down as a 2 or a 3. Why? Because you'll tough it up and you'll get used to it. So you'll get used to that one, so you're thinking, yeah, why did I say it was a 7 or 8? I mean, look, it's really not that bad when you compare to the shoulders, the other. And as time goes on, what we call flares, where it gets really bad and the pain is a lot worse than it has been for the past few weeks or months, is just a readjustment of that scale. So when we say our flare's gone down, I'm not saying every single flare, but most times it hasn't. It's just that we've got used to the new level of pain. So the pain we were in 3 weeks ago before the flare, we would evaluated it 6 or 7 on that idiotic pain scale thing. Well, now it's gone down to a 2 or 3 because the pain level we've just had to get used to, which has gone up to a 2 or 3 levels, is the new normal. So our pain scale gets readjusted constantly. So it's just, I won't say any rude words because I promised myself to be ladylike, but it's just total nonsense, that pain scale thing. Because in addition to which you have to fill it in when you've gone to a doctor, which means you've had to get in the car or the train or whatever, the bus, go, drag yourself there, wait interminable hours in the waiting room. So obviously, I mean, it relates to nothing. I think it's so stupid they should ban it totally from our evaluations and ask the questions differently. Anyway, that's another story. All this to tell you that try the elastic thing so you can understand someone who's got chronic pain. It's one of the best things, you know, the one round your wrist, or it can be, doesn't have to be a rubber band, it can be, you know, one of those little bracelet things that the kids weave all the time or whatever. Just tight enough so you can feel it, but certainly that it doesn't give you any discomfort when you first put it on, and obviously be careful not to block your blood flow. Try it for a few days and I can tell you, and 1,000 words won't explain as well as that will what we go through every single day of every single week of every single year. Anyway, I'll be back later with the other pain descriptions, maybe because my back's killing me, so maybe not. See you.